Your vote 2024, President Biden addressing the nation tonight from the Oval Office. Tonight, President Biden telling the country he is dropping out of the presidential race and passing the torch to his Vice President Kamala Harris. News Channel 3's Bianca Ventura live in studio after speaking with a Democratic strategist and California Democratic delegate who says even though it's going to be a tight turnaround until Election Day, there's new energy within the Democratic Party. Bianca.
John, this evening we heard President Biden speak to the importance of defending democracy while also introducing young faces and voices, of course, through the way of Vice President Kamala Harris. Biden himself has endorsed her as the Democratic nominee, and California delegates like Stephen Maviglio are following suit. All eyes were on President Biden as he addressed the nation from the Oval Office. California delegate and Democratic strategist Stephen Maviglio calling the speech heartfelt.
I thought the president really showed his character tonight, what a sincere man he is, his commitment to America, how much he deeply cares about our future, even when he's not going to be the president.
Maviglio saying Biden heard the calls within his own party and is stepping down to preserve democracy.
There is a time and a place for long years of experience in public life. But there's also a time and a place for new voices, fresh voices, yes, younger voices. And that time and place is now.
Do you think that she is that fresh, young voice and young face that the party needs at this moment?
Yeah, this was a seamless handoff. And, this is not like she's starting anew. She's raised more than $100 million in the span of 36 hours. More importantly, in terms of momentum, thousands of new volunteers all over the country.
With a tight turnaround of about 100 days until the election, several facets of the party seem re-energized.
The energy and enthusiasm, the new volunteers, the financial backing is going to help all candidates, including the congressional race in Palm Springs with Will Rollins.
Maviglio says Harris is pretty much a done deal when it comes to being named the Democratic nominee.
The California delegation met the other evening, and we already have voted to pledge all our votes to Kamala Harris. And many other states have done the same. California put her over the top. By those pledges, she should be a shoo-in.
And according to a recent poll from the AP, Harris has surpassed the number of delegate votes needed to become the Democratic nominee. Former President Trump immediately reacting to President Biden's address to the nation on social media saying, quote, Crooked Joe Biden's Oval Office speech was barely understandable and so bad, end quote.
Okay, Bianca, so what's next for Democrats? This process is kind of new and different this time around when it comes to formally choosing a nominee.
That's right, John. Well, delegates nationwide are set to move forward with a virtual call to officially name their Democratic nominee, and that meeting is set to happen sometime between August 1st and 7th. And I also had the chance to hear from the chair of the Desert Stonewall Democrats, David Weiner, who admitted that he wanted Biden to step down and applauds his graceful dissent.
And I think he recognized, after a lot of discussions with advisors and other people in Democratic leadership, and let's be honest, in Congress, that his path to victory was becoming more and more tenuous and difficult. And recognizing that he might lose this election. In fact, it looked like there was a good chance that he could lose the election.
And I also received an exclusive statement from the president of the East Valley Republican Women's Patriots Group that said in part, quote, President Biden avoided the issue of telling the truth to the American people. It was time wasted. I cannot wait for the next 6 months to be over with and the American people to be able to relish in the election of Donald Trump. And of course, we will continue to bring you the very latest in these final months leading up to Election Day. I'm live in studio, Bianca Ventura, News Channel 3.